Hi, Abraham. The question is, why is it that the male species is the one that seems to do the most, atrocious things, like, war, whatever, rape, whatever. And I do not believe that way, but I see it and I also hear a lot of it. So I just wanted, what was your view on that?
Do you see it in all species or only human?
That's a good question.
Or do you see it in most species or only human?
I'd say most species.
And so, as you think about the lion, the male is protecting, gathering food.
Correct.
The female is birthing, nurturing.
Correct.
So they've come forth in balance, all with individual perspectives or intentions for the balance or good of the whole.
Right.
As we view the energy of your planet, we do not see male energy as more disconnected energy than female energy. In other words, there are not more disconnected men than there are disconnected women.
Correct.
We think that what you're asking about is a product of your environment, where over time, by nature, males are larger and stronger. And so it is logical that they would take up more position of defense. And it is logical that as they practice positions of defense, they practice justifying the defense, which means they practice offense, which means they get it activated in their vibration. And it probably is stronger with male than female because of the orientation within the society.
Right.
Sometimes people will say, how does non-physical view male or female? And we say, when we see you in your spiritual basis, the male and female energy is equal within every part of you. In other words, males have every bit as much capacity to love, and females have every bit as much capacity to hate. We do not think it is a female or male issue.
Right.
We think it is an individual in the moment determining of what I'm giving my attention to. In your society, it is not easy to be a gentle male, because males who are not gentle, who are more aggressive in nature, find fault with you, push against you, make fun of you, try to provoke you, and often do. If you were standing in a place where you were wanting more than anything to feel good, you would practice not being provoked, and you would drop off of their radar screen. In other words, you would become a non-issue. But if you worry about them and activate that in your vibration, then you are a part of what they are about. Again, having said all of this, we now would just as soon you forget all of it and say, nothing is more important than that I feel good. And we would not spend any time at all trying to view the world, catalog and pigeonhole it, call it male or female, call it aggressive or not aggressive. In other words, we would say things like, in an effort to get more air for ourselves or more connection, we would say things like, everybody's knowing the best that they know how to do, everybody's a product of their environment, both non-physical and physical. Many people are not reading their personal stance through their emotional center. Many people are not using their individual guidance, although it is available to them, and more are. It's not my job to figure it all out. It's not anybody's job to figure it all out. It doesn't need to be all figured out. It's working very well. In other words, this is an environment where there are far more moments of happiness and well-being experienced by the majority of you than not. In other words, things are going enormously well. Enormously well. As Jerry and Esther were driving, and they were motivated to conversation and thought, seeing all of the caravans of military equipment moving down the highway and seeing the signs that said, do not pick up hitchhikers, for there is a prison in the area, and seeing all of the different prisons along the landscape, Jerry commented that this is a nation that has become seen by much of the world, and rightly so, as rather aggressive. And then he was commenting on something that he had read or heard about what a high percentage of this nation is incarcerated for one reason or another. And he commented to Esther that people from other nations, as they are viewing this nation through those statistics, probably get a sense of it that is quite different from the experience that Jerry and Esther live. And Esther said, I never move around feeling anything other than absolute freedom, and yet if we were being viewed from another country, we would probably be seen as not all that free. And then Esther thought, it was a sort of whirlwind of thought that rushed through her. She said, I bet I have a whole lot of misconceptions about other countries where we've heard about their leadership or we've heard about their practices, and I have felt fearful for their people, when they may very well be living, the most of them, well, just like the most of us are living well. And then she got thinking about the world in general and how free it really is, and how there are people in villages and cities all over the place that are having their experiences, that are more interested in what's happening to them on an individual basis than they really are affected by what's happening politically. And so as you begin to withdraw from the world view and you stop trying to figure it all out, and you give your full attention to your individual view, always reaching for what feels good, you begin to discover that you have a very happy life. And then people from the outside, maybe some of those aggressive ones, may say to you, but wait, you are living a very narrow life. You need to look broader. And you say, I can look broad and I can look narrow. I can look near and I can look far. But I've looked close up to the well-being of my life experience until I've practiced activating the vibration of well-being. And once I get that really habitually in place with me, then I will look out into the greater world. And we say, and when you do, you will see beauty. When you do, you will see wonder. When you do, you will see balance. When you do, you will see well-being. This is an environment of extraordinary well-being. We would let nothing dissuade us from that knowledge, because that knowledge is core knowledge. It has always been that way, and it will always be that way. Well-being reigns in this environment.
I come to realize that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Greetings. I recently had an automobile accident. I guess I did create it.
Of course.
An ambulance hit me on his way to a hospital with somebody in the ambulance. I claimed that wasn't my fault. Now I see it was.
Well, we wouldn't say it was your fault. We would say it was your match. We wouldn't talk in terms of credit or blame. We would just talk in terms of what I'm matching up with. And have you been able to figure out why you were a match to that?
I think part of the question that I would like to ask is that the insurance company from the ambulance, because it was in Utah, feels that because I'm in Arizona, that I will not push to have them take care of my medical or anything else, my car. So they're refusing to pay for it unless I get a Utah lawyer. Now, in one of the readings from you, you stated that going to court is unacceptable in your eyes.
We don't say unacceptable.
How do I do this?
What we say is, when you are pushing hard against something, you cannot be in the place of allowing well-being. In other words, we would not pursue a lawsuit, because when you enter the judicial system in that way, you would have to amplify your injuries. You would have to amplify your vulnerability. You would have to activate within yourself all of the tragedy that surrounded that. And in doing so, the laws of the universe would then respond to you as this victim. And we think that is far too great of a price to pay for any financial remuneration that would come.
But I don't know who's going to pay for these bills.
We would gather the bills together and make photocopies of them so that you keep your copies on file. And we would ask someone to represent you.
I did.
And we would ask them to present these to them with a simple request for payment.
I did. They refused, and my attorney retired due to illness. So now I'm without an attorney.
well, then we would take them to someone else. In other words, this is a simple request for payment. You are not threatening to sue them. You are not wanting to activate within yourself this vibration of victim. And you see what's happening here, as you say they refuse to pay, you are deliberately, and we don't blame you, we understand why you're doing it, anyone would, but you are deliberately amplifying the path of greater resistance. Now imagine this, because this is the way it is. The universe is wanting to help you out here. In other words, your desire to have these bills paid is being answered. All forces are moving toward that. What you've got to do is find a way of softening your resistance so that you let that happen. And just because somebody says they're not going to do it does not mean that they're not going to do it. You don't have to get all revved up about it. It's a very common thing for people to get exactly what they want after they've been told no, they can't have it dozens and dozens and dozens of times. This is just the process whereby you release your resistance even more. So you say, would you please pay my bills? And they say no. And you say, oh, I must have a little more resistance. So you chill out and you find things to appreciate and you say, now would you pay my bills? And they say, no. And you say, oh, I must have a little too much resistance going on. You don't say, you dirty dog. You don't say, what's the matter with you? And make your resistance more. You say, oh, I must have a little residual resistance. And then you say, now will you pay my bills? And they say, no. And you say, oh, well, I must still have a little resistance going. Until finally you say, would you please pay my bills? And they say, but of course, we have no idea what took us so long. But you've got to get yourself into that vibration where you are a match to that. In other words, an ambulance breaking all laws, going through lights under conditions where you could not hear, hit you. In other words, there's nothing for you to feel uncomfortable about in that. In other words, they ought to pay your bills, and they will pay your bills. It's just a matter of presenting them to them when you are in a place of letting them pay your bills. Now, let's discuss for a little bit why you might not be willing to let someone else pay your bills, you independent cuss. In other words, do you stand around all day with your hand out, or do you like to take care of yourself?
I like to take care of myself.
In other words, when somebody offers to open the door for you, do you stand back and let them open it, or do you do like Esther? I got it.
I got it.
In other words, you like being the creator of your own experience. You like tending to yourself. And so you've got this vibration that's been going on for a long time that says, I should take care of myself. In other words, you're not really sure where you are in this. Was this my fault? I thought it was their fault, but now I think it's my fault. And we say, this is a no-fault universe. This is just a universe that matches things up. And so you were a match to getting hit by the ambulance. That's water under the bridge. Now, are you a match to them paying for it, or are you a match to them not paying for it? And you say, well, I must be a match to them not paying for it because they're not paying for it. And we say, stop saying that. If you keep saying that, then you'll continue to be a match to them not paying for it. As you tell everybody how this happened and everybody agrees, oh, you're being ripped off. They're really wrong. You keep being a match to them not paying for it. Mm-hmm. Somehow you got to find a way to be a match to them paying for it. These are reasonable people. They have the resources. They have the ability to pay for it, but they don't like to pay for it. In other words, they don't really want to pay for it. They're not knocking themselves out to pay for it, but they will pay for it. It's just a matter of you getting yourself into the place where you allow them to pay for it. You do not change your thoughts instantly. You just have to want so much to feel good that you try to find a thought that does feel good. And as you find a few here and there, it gets easier and easier and easier until before you know it, thoughts that didn't feel good are really far from your radar. Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is wonderful to come together with those like you who are understanding more clearly in every day that you are creators of your own experience. Be easy about all of this. Life is supposed to be fun. Well-being is flowing to you. Your work is to practice the art of letting the well-being in. Well-being is flowing in all facets of your experience. Breathe it in. Relax it in. Let it in. There is great love here for you. We are complete.